Howdy everyone, Leslie Hessler here with your Biz Rules Business Coaching from the Carpool. About 2:45, a little late getting to the Carpool today, so I got to sit on the street, but that's okay. At least I'm pointed in the right direction. We've been talking about a lot of things. Hey Bill, hey Amy, nice to have y'all here over the last few weeks about small businesses. And here's the real truth of the matter. And I think there's a Harvard Business Review article that summed it up best, is that small business is not just a little big business. And I'm going to tell you why that matters. So my first career was in marketing and advertising. I did agency work in traditional and interactive. So I worked with some pretty big brands. Garden Ridge, which is now At Home, Metro, which is Houston's version of Dart. Then I did a lot of CPG work with Procter & Gamble, with Corel Diningware, Corningware Kitchen, and just, you know, some things to name the few. Which means I've worked with some really large marketing and really large branding. This, I think, is one of the biggest mistakes that small businesses make. And it's an honest mistake. It's an easy mistake. Because if you think about it, if you look out in the marketplace and you look at all of the marketing and advertising, you can see what you see is big brand marketing, big brand advertising. And that just doesn't translate to small business growth. So I thought this week we talk about marketing small businesses. And it has kind of a twofold. It gets my mind prepared for our next mastermind, and how we worked up packages and pricing last week with my mastermind group. And our next month's meeting is all about how to market these things. How do you get in front of the people you need to get in front of to actually be able to look at it? So we're going to talk marketing this week. And I thought, first off, I'd start with the question of who believes in marketing. Okay, I should have like everybody's like, yeah, okay, Leslie, of course, I believe in marketing. And then my next question is, who has a marketing budget? Crickets, squeak, creak, creak. Hardly anyone does. In fact, I was talking with someone today, works in financial services, and I said, well, what's your marketing budget? And he goes, well, 500. And I was like, is that a month or for the year? Oh, well, maybe for the year. That's not really a marketing budget. And the first concept that I want you to really gain in your small business is that marketing is nothing more than purchasing clients. Okay, there's an art to the buying of the customer. This is a book you can read by Brad Sugars. Okay, and it's a very good concept about this. Really, this small business definition of marketing. So marketing is nothing more than purchasing or investing in a client and receiving a client in return. Now, if you can grasp that, you can start to understand why it's so important that you actually have a marketing budget. Look, there are lots and lots of things that you can do on shoestrings. Maybe I'll make that Friday's episode all about shoestring or guerrilla marketing. But I need you to get this idea that you have to put the investment back into your company in order to yield customers. Now, let me talk about why people get burned in buying advertising, let's say, just buying advertising. And I'll ask people, well, have you ever thought of doing this? And it'll always be, yes, I tried that once and it didn't work. Well, that's because you tried it once. Nothing works at once. Marketing is really built upon this repetition of messages. If you think about all the things that you receive during the day, all the information, all the bits and pieces and messages and requests and things that you receive in a day, a lot goes by before you're actually conscious about it. So that's why repetition is so key. That's why consistency is so key when it comes to marketing. That's why one time won't work. Hey Lynette, it's good to have you. One time won't work, okay? So you really have to. And I wonder, am I sideways? Because y'all are sideways. So I'm wondering if I'm sideways here, even though the camera says I'm this way. So if I'm sideways, let me know and I will turn my camera. But that's why marketing doesn't work for a lot of people, because there's not enough consistency. So the first thing you need to know is anything in marketing is going to take 90 days to sink in, to catch hold. Yes, I am. Okay, Lynette, I'm turning. Facebook doesn't want to work with me today, I guess. That might be why people are popping on, going, oh, she's sideways. So that's why marketing is so frustrating for people, is because it actually takes longer than you think it would take in order to have a result happen. Okay, so keep that in mind. The next two things I want you to really get into place is you do need a budget. Now, how much of a budget do you need? Well, depending on how aggressive you want to grow, you could need as much as 10% of where you want to be. So let's say you want to get into $100,000. Well, you may be making a $10,000 investment, or you need to at least be setting aside that money. Now, as you grow and as you learn and you can determine your effectiveness, you may not need that much, right? I was speaking with a gentleman today that basically he's looking for $300,000 in growth. I thought, after listening to him and his business and his clientele and who he was and how he likes to market, I was like, you know what? I just want you to set aside $3,000. I bet you could do it with $3,000 because he's got momentum. He has some clients behind him. So choose a budget. If 5% is what you can do, if 3% is what you can do, I don't care. It's just as you have those clients come in and as you are onboarding new clients and things like that, just set some money aside so that you actually have money to be able to invest in the future. I don't know if I should have it up or have it down. Anyways, I'm figuring this out because, I don't know, Facebook is kind of making my head look really large today. Sorry guys for a little rambling, but that's one of these key things is with each new client that you come, set aside 10%, set aside 5% for you to invest in the next client. So the two numbers you need to know, all right? You need to understand what your cost of acquisition is. And the cost of acquisitions, if you took all of your marketing, and I'm going to make it easy, just all your marketing divided by the number of clients, new clients that came on during that marketing, that's cost of acquisition. Now you can do this as a really big number. You can do it individually for every marketing strategy, which you really should be doing so you can compare effectiveness. But get to whatever that number is. And know that the number needs to be as low as it can be effective. Okay, so the end goal is not to lower this number down to 0. I mean, I suppose you could, but it's counterintuitive. It won't always work. You just want an effective number for the rate, okay? The second number that you need to know is your lifetime value of a client. Simply put, for as long as somebody's with you as a client, how much are they spending? Do you know those numbers? Because really those two numbers can tell you what marketing to purchase. Okay, when marketing is a safe bet. All right, and so what we're looking for, and typically your number should be like a 4 to 5, 10 time investment. So what you invest in cost of acquisition or marketing should yield you, 4 to 10 times the amount of income. I hope that makes sense. So once you have those two numbers, they're actually really valuable. So if I knew, and this was in interior design, I knew that it cost me about $500 in marketing to generate a client. So when I looked at new marketing ventures, okay, if I looked at taking on, we did home advisors. I know a lot of people don't have good luck, but look, I knew I needed to spend $500 in leads to generate a $60,000 client or $70,000 or $80,000 client. So I was happy to spend that money and not get so frustrated with all of the junk leads that would come through, because I would get that one big fish and all I had to do was wait around for it. So that was a really safe thing for me to do because I'm only spending $10 at a time. Pish, no biggie. But if you're looking at, let's say, a D-Home magazine, okay, we have D-Home here in Dallas, beautiful ads. Those ads are not cheap. All right, how many, if you thought, if it's a $5,000 or $10,000 ad and maybe it just runs once or maybe it runs 4 times, how many clients would that need to generate? All right, that's kind of what that cost of acquisition would go. So if you are looking at a marketing technique that's maybe $2,000 and your cost of acquisition is $500, then you have to generate 4 clients off of that ad, right? That's your kind of rule of thumb. And it's an important rule of thumb because then you have to say, how likely is that? Off of one, let's just say one impression of marketing, how likely is it that you would generate 4 clients? Well, I'll tell you, if you're a rock star client or a content developer, you nailed your client, you know your message, you have your IATA, and I'll go over that later this week, which is attention, interest, desire, and action down pat. Maybe you could generate 4 clients. But for most people, they can't, right? Because you're still learning the marketing, you're still learning the message. So keep with safer bets earlier on until you've learned your key core messages. And this takes time. It takes time. And, Brad Sugars gives an example in the Buying Customers, and he talks about a dog food company in Australia where they literally tested the message 248 times, 260 times, I don't care. Anything above 200 is like crazy, right? Most of us would not try that message 200 times. But, 200 times before he landed on the exact message that he needed to land on. And so in doing so, though, he picked the perfect radio ad that generated clients. So he needed more clients, he just ran the radio ad. Didn't need it, turned it off. It was kind of like that light switch we're always looking for. But it does take time to develop something that impactful, or you need some good experts. So look at that. I always think safe bets are when you just need to generate 1 client. But also look for opportunities for repetition, especially if you're in print advertising. You need the repetitions, you need the viewings in order to actually incite action. So nothing's going to happen on the first time. So the best things you can do, is give yourself a budget, okay? Be willing to play in order to learn. C, keep with strategies that are easy for you to generate a client from, that are quick and not long term. So I think that's going to be about it today. Sorry for the on the side bit today, but Facebook, anyways, the camera was right, but y'all were wrong, so I needed to rotate. If you have any more questions about what we've talked about, in fact, I've got a little worksheet if you'd like it. It's a marketing strategy kind of worksheet where it just asks you all these questions that I'm talking about. And Lynette, don't worry, you're going to get it as part of our mastermind work. I was looking at it today, but if you'd like that and you're not a part of my community, just shoot me an email at support@yourbizrules.com and I will email that out to you. And then as always, tomorrow is coffee and crazy talk. And that's just really a good time to have great conversations with people that are just as crazy as you for being an entrepreneur in business. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow at the coffee house at 10:30. Let me know if you're coming, though. I want to make sure we have room for you. But that's it for today, guys. So I'm Leslie Hassler with Your Biz Rules Business Coaching, and this is Coaching from the Carpool. Talk to you soon.